You love your dog. That's not even a question. You feed them well. You take them on walks. You buy them toys they destroy in 4 minutes flat. You let them sleep on the bed even though they take up 3/4 of it. You talk to them. You worry about them. You think about them when you're not home. And yet, there are things you're probably doing every single day. Small, normal, completely well-intentioned things that your dog experiences in a completely different way than you mean them. Things that, from where they're standing, feel confusing or scary or like a tiny crack in the trust they have in you. Not because you're a bad owner. You're clearly not. But because nobody told you. Because these things look like love from our side and land very differently on theirs. This video is about those things, 5 of them specifically, and I want to be honest with you up front. Some of these might sting a little, because chances are you've done most of them today. But here's the thing. Knowing is the whole game, and by the end of this, you're going to see your dog a little differently, in the best possible way. Let's start with the one that's going to surprise you the most. Number 1, you hug them and they hate it. I know. This one hurts, because hugging your dog might be one of your favorite things in the world. You come home after a long day, you drop to the floor and you just wrap your arms around them. And it feels so good. It feels like connection, like love, like exactly what you both needed. But here's the thing, and I really need you to sit with this one. Your dog is probably not feeling what you think they're feeling in that moment. A researcher named Stanley Coren decided to look into this properly. He collected 250 random photos from the internet of people hugging their dogs, just everyday owners, just normal moments of affection, and he analyzed every single one of them for signs of stress in the dog. What he found stopped a lot of people in their tracks. In 81.6% of those photos, the dogs were showing clear signs that they were uncomfortable. Ears pulled back, head turned away, eyes showing that little sliver of white at the corner, mouth tight, body stiff. Only 7.6% of the dogs looked genuinely at ease. And then in 2024, a research team in Ireland went even further. Instead of photos, they analyzed videos, which meant they could catch things photos miss, like blinking, panting, lip licking, and in some cases, dogs actually trying to nip. They looked at 80 of the most popular videos online of people hugging their dogs. The stress signals were everywhere, and the owners in those videos, they had no idea. They were smiling. They thought their dog was happy. That's the part that gets me every time. Here's why this happens. And it's not complicated, I promise. Dogs are built to run. When something feels threatening or overwhelming, their first instinct is to get away from it. Running is their safety. So when you wrap your arms around them and hold them in place, even gently, even lovingly, you've just taken away their ability to do the one thing that makes them feel safe. They can't leave. They're trapped. And even if they trust you completely, that trapped feeling is deeply uncomfortable for them on a biological level. It's not that they don't love you, it's that a hug doesn't translate. What you're saying with your arms is, I love you, I'm happy to see you, you are my favorite thing. What they're feeling is, I can't move, I can't leave, I don't know what's happening right now. And the hardest part? They don't pull away, they don't snap, they just hold still and tolerate it, because they love you enough to endure something uncomfortable without making a fuss, which honestly makes it even more important that we notice. So what actually works? Letting them come to you. A hand on the chest, sitting on the floor and letting them climb into your space on their terms. That's the version of closeness that actually feels like love to them, chosen, not forced. And if you've been hugging your dog for years and they've never seemed to mind, watch more closely next time. Look at their ears, look at their eyes. Look at whether their body is relaxed or just still. You might see something you've been missing. Number 2, you punish them after the moment has passed. Let me paint you a picture that probably sounds familiar. You come home, you walk through the door, and immediately you see it. The trash knocked over, the cushion destroyed, the shoes that are definitely not supposed to look like that anymore. And you feel that wave of frustration rise up, and you turn to your dog and you say their name in that voice, and you point at the mess and you tell them, no, bad dog, look what you did. And your dog, here's the part that breaks my heart a little. Your dog looks guilty. Head down, ears back, tail low, maybe even rolling onto their back. And you see that look and you think, they know exactly what they did. But here's what's actually happening in that moment. And this one genuinely changed the way I think about dogs. Your dog has no idea why you're upset. Not because they're stubborn, not because they're trying to get away with something, but because the part of their brain that connects a consequence to a past action simply doesn't work the way ours does. Researchers who study how dogs learn have found that for a dog to connect a correction to a behavior, that correction needs to happen within about 2 seconds of the behavior itself. 2 seconds. After that window closes, the connection is gone. So when you come home 20 minutes later, or 2 hours later, and you react to the mess on the floor, your dog isn't thinking about the trash. They're thinking about right now. They're reading your body language, your tone, your energy in this moment. And what they're learning isn't, I shouldn't knock over the trash. What they're learning is, when my person comes home sometimes, something scary happens and I don't know why. And that look you're reading as guilt? Researchers have actually studied that too. It's not guilt. It's a stress response to your body language and tone. Your dog is reacting to your anger, not to a memory of what they did. They're trying to make you less scary by making themselves small. That's all that's happening. Which means every time you've punished your dog after the fact, you haven't taught them anything about the behavior. You've only taught them that you are sometimes unpredictable, that your mood can shift without warning, that coming home, one of the things they look forward to most in their entire day, can sometimes mean something frightening is about to happen. And unpredictability is one of the most trust-eroding things a dog can experience. Because your dog needs to be able to read you, needs to feel like they understand what's coming. That's how they feel safe. That's how trust is built, through consistency, through predictability, through you making sense to them. So what do you do instead? If you come home to a mess, take a breath. Deal with the mess. Don't make it about your dog. If you want to prevent it from happening again, that's a training conversation. And it starts before you leave the house, not after you come home. Your dog isn't trying to challenge you. They're not being defiant. They're just being a dog, doing dog things in the hours when their favorite person isn't there. And hey, if this is opening your eyes a little bit, hit that subscribe button. It's the best way to help us reach more dog owners who genuinely want to understand what's going on inside their dog's head. The next mistake is so common that almost all owners make it without realizing it, and it quietly undermines your dog's sense of security every day. Number 3, your rules change and they never know why. Let me ask you something honest. Is your dog allowed on the couch? Maybe your answer is yes, maybe it's no. But here's the more interesting question. Is the answer always the same? Because for a lot of owners, the real answer is something more like, it depends on my mood. Or, usually not, but sometimes. Or, I let it slide when I've had a hard day and just want them next to me. And I'm not judging that at all. It's completely human. The problem is that your dog has no idea what any of those conditions mean. They don't know what your mood is. They don't know what day it is. They don't know that Tuesday couch rules are different from Sunday couch rules. All they know is that sometimes they jump up and everything is fine. You even pet them, you pull them closer. And other times they jump up and you push them off and use a stern voice, and they have absolutely no way of understanding why the outcome was different this time. From your dog's perspective, that's not discipline. That's a mystery. And here's why that matters more than most people realize. Dogs are constantly trying to understand their world. That's actually one of the things that makes them such extraordinary companions. They are deeply motivated to figure out what we want, to read us, to learn the patterns of how we behave. They work hard at it, but when the patterns don't hold, when the same action leads to completely different outcomes depending on something they can't see or measure, that effort breaks down. Researchers who study dog behavior have found that inconsistency from owners is one of the strongest predictors of anxiety and stress in dogs. Not harshness, inconsistency. A dog who is corrected firmly but consistently can learn and adapt. A dog who never knows what to expect from the person they love most, that dog lives in a low level of uncertainty all the time. Always slightly on edge, always waiting to see which version of the rules applies today. Think about what that feels like from the inside. Imagine working for someone who praised you for something on Monday and reprimanded you for the exact same thing on Wednesday, with no explanation. You'd stop trusting your own judgment. You'd become anxious. You'd spend all your energy trying to read their mood instead of just doing your job. That's what inconsistency does to your dog. Now, I want to be really clear here. This isn't about being rigid or running your household like a military operation. It's about picking a lane and staying in it. Whatever your rules are, make them the same rules every day. And make sure everyone in the household is on the same page, because one person enforcing a boundary while another person cheerfully ignores it is just as confusing to your dog as you being inconsistent yourself. Your dog doesn't need perfect rules. They need predictable ones, because a dog who can predict you is a dog who trusts you. And a dog who trusts you is a dog who can finally, fully relax, because they know exactly where they stand with the most important person in their world. Number 4, you force them into situations that terrify them. Picture this. Your dog doesn't love meeting strangers. Maybe they back away when someone reaches out to pet them. Maybe they freeze up at the dog park. Maybe every vet visit turns into a full-body stress response before you've even walked through the door. And your instinct, because you love them and you want them to be okay, is to help them through it. To bring them closer to the thing that scares them. To say, it's fine, they're friendly, while gently nudging them forward, or to hold them in place while someone pets them, because you want them to see that nothing bad is going to happen. That instinct comes from a good place. A really good place. But here's what's actually happening inside your dog when you do that. When a dog is scared, genuinely scared, not just a little uncertain, their brain shifts into a very specific mode. Everything narrows. Their whole focus becomes, how do I get away from this? That's not stubbornness. That's not them being dramatic. That's a nervous system doing exactly what it was designed to do in the presence of something that feels threatening. And in that state, they cannot learn that the thing is safe. The part of the brain that does that kind of learning, the calm, rational, okay, let me update my understanding of this situation part, is essentially offline when fear takes over. So when you push them forward anyway, when you hold them still while the scary thing happens, you're not teaching them that it's okay. You're teaching them that when they're scared, you don't listen, that their signals don't matter, that the one person they rely on to keep them safe will sometimes put them directly into the thing they're trying to escape. And that is a deeply damaging message to send to a dog who trusts you. Researchers who study fear responses in dogs have found something that feels counterintuitive at first, forcing a dog to face something frightening without first building a genuine sense of safety around that thing almost always makes the fear worse over time, not better. The dog doesn't get used to it. They get more sensitized, more reactive, more convinced that the world is full of things to be afraid of because their experience keeps confirming it. Think about it from their side. If you had a fear of heights and someone who loved you kept walking you to the edge of a balcony and saying, "See, it's fine, nothing happened," while you stood there frozen with your heart pounding, you wouldn't get better. You'd start to dread the balcony. And you might start to dread the person who keeps taking you there. That's what forced exposure does to a dog who isn't ready. So what does actually help? Letting them set the pace. If they want to observe the scary thing from a distance, let them observe from a distance. If they want to take one step closer and then retreat, celebrate that one step. If the vet visit is genuinely traumatic, talk to your vet about ways to make it less overwhelming before you're in the thick of it. The goal isn't to get your dog to tolerate their fear. It's to help them genuinely feel safe, and that only happens at their speed, not yours. Your dog is not being difficult when they're scared. They're telling you something. And the most trust-building thing you can do in that moment is listen and stay next to them while they figure it out on their own terms. Number 5, you use their name as a warning. This one is small, and it might be the most damaging one on this entire list. Think about how many times a day you say your dog's name. Probably a lot, right? You call them for dinner. You say it when you're happy to see them. You say it across the room just because you like saying it. And somewhere in there, and this is the part I want you to really pay attention to, you also say it right before something they don't like. Buddy? Then you take away the thing they're chewing. Buddy. Then you use the stern voice. Buddy. Then you grab their collar and pull them away from something. Buddy, no. Buddy, stop. Buddy, come here right now. It seems harmless. It seems like just how you get their attention before you communicate something. But here's what's happening in your dog's brain every single time you do it. Your dog's name is supposed to be the most positive sound in their entire world. When they hear it, the association should be immediate and automatic. That sound means something good is coming. That sound means my person. That sound is safe. That's actually how trainers teach it from the beginning. Say the name, give a treat, repeat, 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 until the name itself becomes a tiny moment of joy. But every time you use their name right before something uncomfortable or scary or unpleasant, a correction, a bath they hate, a nail trim, a loud no, you're chipping away at that association. Slowly, quietly, without realizing it. And over time, the name stops meaning safety. It starts meaning pay attention because something might be about to go wrong. And a dog who has learned to feel uncertain when they hear their own name is a dog who sometimes hesitates before coming to you, who sometimes looks at you a little warily instead of lighting up, who has learned, through hundreds of small, repeated experiences, that the sound of their own name is not always a good sign. Researchers who study how dogs learn have found that the emotional associations dogs form with sounds are remarkably strong and remarkably lasting. Dogs don't just respond to words, they respond to what those words have come to predict, and a name that has been paired with unpleasant experiences enough times stops functioning as a safe call and starts functioning as a warning signal. Think about what that means for a second. The thing you say more than almost anything else, the word that's supposed to be the anchor of your entire relationship, has slowly become a source of low-level anxiety for your dog. Not because you meant it to, but because the repetition made it so. So here's what you can do starting today. Make a simple rule for yourself. Use their name only for good things. Call them by name when dinner's ready, when you want to play, when you just want them to come be near you, when something wonderful is about to happen, and when you need to stop a behavior. Don't lead with the name, just address the behavior directly. Protect their name, keep it clean, keep it safe. Because that word, that specific combination of sounds that belongs entirely to them, should always, every single time, make them feel like good things are coming. It should feel like you.